Hello, what's going on? Welcome to day number 3 of the Spring Leaning Challenge. I'm Sarit.
And I'm Erin.
And today we are going to go over how to drop weight while still having fun, aka how do you keep the foods that you love in your life and get the results that you want and enjoy the process. So,
With special guest, Mr. Bogey.
yes. So, for those of you who are live to listen to chat, I would love to know from you if there was one food that you're like, dude, like, if I could eat this for the rest of my life and there were no negative repercussions, what would that food be? So, I'll tell you, like, for me, my thing has been chocolate. You know, back in the day, yesterday, I shared with you a little bit of the chart of what my journey was like. And, you know, like back in the day when I was struggling with binge eating and yo-yo dieting, the whole ordeal, chocolate was actually my coping mechanism. Not only did I love it, but it also became my comfort. It was the vice that I went into in order to numb my pain. I believe that if we have, you know, any form of, um, you know, struggle with emotional eating, stress eating, binge eating, or some or anything along those lines, there is this, you know, one vice that we normally tend to go to. So yeah, I'd love to.
And it seems to be ice cream majority rules. I'm just saying.
Okay. Okay.
Ice cream majority rules. Come here.
Okay. So, you know, what we're going to go over today is how can you keep, you know, if ice cream is your thing, how can you keep ice cream a part of your life while still getting the results that you want? You know, this is nobody, one of the things we say is that nobody wants to lose weight to gain it back, right? So, like what you're learning over these 5 days are the principles that are going to help you to shift your habits and just your lifestyle in a way that will help you to continue to get better results as time goes on. And, you know, like normally, oh my gosh, how can we get to page 17? Normally when we tell ourselves we want to lose weight, you know, like let's say we get on a diet, right? And like I said, there's nothing wrong with diets. You know, the issue is that the lifestyle habits and principles are not aligned with that diet and or are not included in it. And then you know, at some point or another, you're unable to keep doing it. You know, there have been so many diets that I've done, like the cabbage soup diet, you know, there's actually a chocolate cake diet. I only last, yeah, it was eat a chocolate cake, you know, like for breakfast every single day. I didn't last more than 3 days on it because honestly, it just didn't make much sense to me.
Like you
It
can't
was a rip off from a magazine, and I was like, oh yeah, let me.
you can't eat a chocolate cake for breakfast for more than 3 days in a row. Weak.
So you know, like what's going on here?
Immature.
So normally, what happens is, you know, like let's say keto, for example, right? Like we've all heard of keto, right? Like we all hear about our coworker, our neighbor who, you know, dropped 40 pounds. So dropped 40 pounds maybe in 6 months, and then an event happened, right? Like this event could be, you know, graduation or Easter or vacation or work trip,
Had a
right?
baby, got married.
And something happened where they were unable to keep up in the moment. And, you know, like once we get outside of our environment and, you know, we slip up, we start to make excuses, right? And we start negotiating with ourselves. Like that's what happens from a behavioral standpoint, right? And then it's like, oh yeah, like, you know, it's just, you know, like this graduation party. Oh well, but tomorrow is Sunday, so you know, like let's just do that. And then it's like step on the scale Monday, up 5 pounds. You're like, shit, really? Okay, well, maybe I'll just do this for another week and then we'll get back on track. And then life continues to happen and life just has this way of happening, right? So then before you know it, dropped 40, gained 80, right? And the cycle repeats itself for years and years and years on end. Maybe this has happened to you before too. And if it did, just go ahead and drop an I in the chat. Did you want to add anything?
Yeah, they're up there.
I've been talking to them over there.
I want to continue this too. Like this is like one cycle, but so that you understand it, it's like you started to talk about it with your own journey, but it's like I lose some weight, and then if this is where I started right here, this is the line of where I started, and I'm trying to get to like, let's call this, 200 pounds, and let's call this like 140. Okay. It's like I lose a little bit, and then when I gain back, oh, I'm a little heavier now than I was before I even started. So then I go again, and I lose up, and then and now back up, and then it starts to go like this, right? And you get further and further and further away from where you're actually trying to go. If the method that you're using, the strategies that you're using are not sustainable strategies, or if you don't have any safeguards in place, or if you don't have the tools, the accountability, or the support of people around you to help you continue with the habits that you're building for long enough to, as you lose, maybe you'll gain a little bit more, but you won't gain as much. You end up, I don't know why it does that. But can we just clear this page? If we redo this here, we're here, 200 pounds, and we want to get over here at 140, okay? You lose a little, you might backslide a little bit. That's normal. Can you see that? Yeah, that's normal. But the goal would be, gained a little, okay, got back on track, okay, and the trend then is even if I'm not perfectly downward, which nobody is, what we are trying to give you in these 5 days, and also in the Bang Body Fast Track, bodyfasttrack.com, $97, starting May 18th. What we're trying to give you is the tools, the strategies, the support, the safeguards to put in place so that instead of when you gain weight, you gain more than you lost. Like, it's not uncommon for people that coach with us to, even if they have surgery, even if they get injured and they can't work out, even if some crazy life event happens, heaven forbid, the loss of a loved one, or, changing careers, or moving a house, or getting in a new relationship, any of these like life circumstances, challenges that come our way, it's not uncommon for, even if one of our clients like doesn't lose weight, they don't gain any weight, which is a huge success in itself. So I think I'm saying all that to say stick around and also do the Bang Body Fast Track. Ta-da.
So progress, like when you're doing it the sustainable route, you want to lead with progress, not perfection. And what you want to keep in mind is that consistency is key. And, whether ice cream is the thing that you love, whether chocolate or wine, like it's the thing that you love. Today, we're going to show you, like, how can you still keep this as part of your life while continuing to get better. And, like, as you continue dropping weight, like, how do you, quote unquote, harmonize your goals with the things that you love? Because ultimately, I believe that the reason why we want to, manipulate our body, right? Like whether it's I want to drop 15 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds, it's because we want to live more life. We want to enjoy our life more, right? And I think a big reason why, like these diets and gimmicks don't work is because you're trying to gain life and you feel like you're losing it before you have even built the, it's like going from swimming in the kiddie pool to swimming in the ocean with sharks. It doesn't work that way. Like mentally, emotionally, spiritually, right? Like there's an evolution process.
It's like the
Okay.
acclimation, right?
Right. So, like you got to acclimate to new waters, right? Like, okay, let's go from the kiddie pool, if you're like me, to the pool, right? To the Olympic swimming pool, okay, let's go to a lake where you can see everything underneath you, right? Because if you can't see what's underneath the water, then that's really weird. Like swimming in the Caribbean Ocean where there's like the Caribbean Sea where there's no waves like, all right, let's go to like California and just swim in the cold water with like high waves and lots of sharks. You get it. So I promise today we're not going to be eating any sharks, nor we will be swimming with any sharks. Before we get into today's content, I want to see from you guys for accountability in the chat. We have already completed 2 days of the spring leading challenge. And every single day in this challenge, you can earn up to 3 points in terms of the action steps that have been set for you. So go ahead in the chat, drop where are you currently at on a scale of 0 to 6. And what we want to talk to you guys about today is how when it comes to getting the results that you want and doing it in a way where you're not losing your mind, I believe that one of the most powerful things that happen in the process is the fact that you build confidence. When you can see that you can actually sustain results, especially, we see you guys, 6, 5, 4, 3, 6, 2, good. Consistency is key, regardless of what your score is, just keep showing up. So, like when you're on this journey and I had a thought and then it's run away, so I'm trying to catch it back. Today, we're going to teach you a concept that's going to help you to build confidence in yourself. Because when you've tried all these things so many times, it's almost like you have this expectation that this same thing is going to happen. And from the mental component of how do we manage that, we're going to go over that on day number 5. However, from a mechanical standpoint, like once you see that you can enjoy your life and you're not like hating everything on day number 3 because you're freaking starving and ravenous or you're extremely bored, right? And you feel like you want to quit. Once you feel like you've broken through those barriers that seem to be familiar to you, and you're starting to notice that things are also shifting from a byproduct standpoint with your body, you start to build what is called certainty. Certainty that, yes, this is possible. Yes, this is for me. Yes, there is a way. And really, that's what today's all about. So today, we're going to be talking about.
Hold on. So if self-confidence is one of the reasons why you want to lose weight or you want to get in better shape, drop a C in the comments. And you've heard of like what came first, the chicken or the egg? And a question I have thought about is what came first, weight loss or self-confidence? Because if you're not confident in yourself to lose weight, how are you going to lose weight? So if you have self-doubt or disbelief that you're capable, and you almost, like I was talking to somebody today, she's like, dude, I basically set myself up to fail before I even start by doubting that I'm even going to follow through. And I'm like, yeah, 100%. It wouldn't surprise me if you didn't follow through. So there's a certain amount of self-confidence that you need to have in order to lose weight, right? But we're wanting to lose weight so that we can have more confidence. So you need the confidence before you lose the weight. And so today, our goal is to help you create a structure for yourself and a strategy for yourself to be able to start gaining that confidence. Now, how many, like, you don't have to answer this, but if you have ever already lost at least 20 pounds at some point in your life, when you start losing weight, and you see the results, and you step on the scale and you go from 200 to 195 to 190 to 185, and it's real good, real promising. Like, where is your motivation from when you're here to when you see this happening? Like, what's your motivation? Like, significantly increases, right? What happens that moment you step on the scale and you're back to 190 up? Oh, and then something crazy happens and you're just like, because you want to eat everything. So our goal is in this, when this phenomenon happens right here between the 190, 185, 190, when we lose it, what we're going to teach you today is how when you see this happen for you, you don't need to freak out about it. You just get back on track about it. And we're going to show you how to do that.
And also, while you're going through this period, right? Like, how do you still have something that you really enjoy to look forward to before you started to, like, implement some habits, before, like, the results are really starting to show, before you feel like your routine is set up. I mean, yesterday we took our first action step with regards to creating a habit, right? It's like, think of yourself like a farmer, right? Like, building the body that you want. I'm not talking like bodybuilding, right? But like, building the results that you want is like, planning for harvest. You're not going to plant a seed on day one and say, oh yeah, like, a pumpkin is going to come out of it tomorrow, right? And what we're going to teach you today is something that we're going to compare to, I guess, like a life area that touches everything in our life, and that is money.
Okay, hold on. Because either we glitched out or y'all are sleeping or nobody wants to be confident. Because out of 65 of y'all here, I see 2 C's. So either the camera glitched right when I said to drop a C, if part of the reason you want to get in better shape is for self-confidence, or you fell asleep for a half a second in that moment and like went deaf, or you do not care to be more confident. Because definitely a glitch. Okay. I didn't want to assume because I was like, this topic's not going to work for anybody. Are we live? Are we good?
There's like 20 seasons.
Oh, I have the glitch. Perfect. Good to know. I would have looked like a real a-hole if I just said you guys were sleeping. There was a glitch. Perfect. Okay. So I'm glad that is going to be helpful for you.
Great.
Because this is super powerful.
So what happens when there's a glitch? When you're like, dude, I've done the right shit and the scale went up. This is when a lot of us just lose our mind and we're like, fuck it. Why
I see all your
bother?
comments now.
Why bother anyways? Right? If the scale's gonna go up, I might as well have fun. I know you said it before. I know it because I said that too. Okay.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
We're gonna teach you today's principle by comparing it to money, because let's face it, money touches every part of our life, and our health touches every part of our life. And the first thing with regards to both principles, please know that I am not your financial advisor, but yes, I am your body transformation coach. Okay. So, like anything great that you want to build in life takes time and effort. Okay. Like on day one, we talked about, like asking yourself the right questions, and rather than, like asking yourself the question of how fast should I do this, instead you want to lead with how far can I go? or how far am I willing to go, right? And the same thing, happens with your money as well. Of course, the more time goes on, the more you advance in your career, the more you're able to, build your wealth or whatever it may be. The same thing with this journey as well. The more time that goes on, the more you're actually setting yourself up for success. However, it's important that from a behavioral standpoint and from a physiological standpoint, we are leading in the same direction. What happens with, like all these diets and, things that most of us have done in the past is that we're going on the extreme shift with everything physiological, and behaviorally nothing changes. So then whenever we get hit with a problem, we now act based on fear and based on what we've always done, which is our default mode, right? So if our default mode is to, just self-sabotage with chocolate, whenever, we step on the scale and we see a number that we had not expected, what do? We go back to the same default, right? So how do we, create a mechanism where the behavioral component is aligned with the physiological component, so you're able to stay sane along the course as you continue to make progress, and also when you hit a bump, which let me tell you something, y'all are going to hit a bump at some point or another. Like how do you manage yourself then?
Okay, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
And usually we do this, and I know the way you're going to do it, like a bank account. And for the sake of new and returning people here, I feel like we should explain this in another way. But you mentioned that we're going to talk about in a way that money touches everything, in a way that everybody understands, it touches all aspects of our life. Which is
just go for it. No,
so, which is
go the way you want to, because she obviously wants to do it her way. So just go for it.
I kind of like did the other way too, but I was thinking about it another way, because how many of you guys played sports? Okay, so with the bank account analogy, you have deposits, you have withdrawals, which is what we've talked about a few times, and it makes complete sense. Money goes into the bank account, and then you have, your rent, and you have your car payment, and you have whatever else, and money goes out. There's deposits, there's withdrawals. Well, do you want in your bank account, do you want more deposits or more withdrawals? More deposits. Okay. You want more money to stay in there than what leaves. Okay. So from a sports analogy, this is the same thing with your actions. We're going to call any championship team. Let's take Tom Brady, Patriots, because Sarit has a thing. Okay. Any championship team, even a repeat championship team, they have some losses. They don't win every single game, right?
I don't know.
I think your hair could do it. No. They don't win every single game. But in order to be a championship team, they do need to win way more games than they lose, right? Now, the fact that we think I can never make a mistake, I can never eat a carb while I'm on this diet, is silly, because the second we get an L, it would be like Michael Jordan at the Bulls. Like, they lose the game, they're like, okay, we're out of the season. We're not going to play anymore. No, because they know they still have a chance. Losing is part of life. Making mistakes is part of life. And you cannot win the whole thing if you quit as soon as you get a loss. So the perspective on this to understand is when this defeats the all or nothing mindset. Okay, so if you've been all or nothing and you're like, I'm all in, and that's when you use 5 days a week and you're like crushing it, and all of a sudden something happens, and then that's your one loss or your one withdrawal, and then you're like, screw it. You don't have like a payment come out of your bank account, and you're like, give all the money away. Whoops. No, because you know it's going to happen. So if you know you're going to mess up, it's just part of the process. The greatest thing that you can do is say, well, if we go back to here, the greatest thing that you could do, oh, I got a loss. Whoopsie. But I know that it's part of the process. What do I need to do to get back up? Same person I was talking to earlier today, actually, we were talking about this. When somebody coaches with us, or you have a coach just in general, no matter what you do, when you make a mistake or you do something wrong or you mess up and you fall down, how long do you stay down? When you gain a little bit of weight, you fell down, how long do you stay down before you get back up again? I can't get back down, but I get up again. So when you have the right support, when you have the right perspectives, understanding that losses are a part of the game, and you don't freak out about it, you just say, how can I get my next win? And you get to create that. Then you know, I don't need to stay down. Right? So it's like the time in between when you fall and when you get back up starts shortening. Oops, I messed up. And maybe it's been like 3 years since the last time you messed up, and now you're back and you're like, okay. And then maybe the next time it's like, hopefully if you're in our community or you're working with us in some capacity or doing something with us, it's not even a month, but sometimes it's less, sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's like a month, right? So how can we shorten the time from when you fall to when you get back up and you keep going? Because that's what changes the game for you. And then eventually you get to the point where like Sarit and I are at, if you do it long enough, where you can fall down and get back up in the same day. Would that be nice?
Yeah, and also, like that's why we were inspired to create the Bang Body Fast Track, because after those 5 days, like right now you're starting to build momentum. You're doing great, right? And what I'm about to share with you, I just want to share it from just experience in coaching others, and also experience from our own personal journey. And like you start to build momentum, and when we build a momentum, we get increased level of confidence and almost this newfound life, right? And like we continue doing the things that we've learned, we're implementing, and then life always has its way where something's gonna throw us sideways, right? And then you're going to realize that there's more for you to learn and there's more for you to implement, right? And the reason why we're giving you this time margin is because number one, if you happen to want to be a part of the Big Body Fast Track, you will have a plan for the next 2 weeks on what to do each and every single day, as long as you sign up, I think, before Monday. However, even then, every single day, like, what we're doing is we're getting data, right? Like you guys dropped it in the chat. I'm at a 6, I'm at a 5, I'm at a 4, I'm at a 2, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, well, what things are going well, what things are areas of opportunity, and like how do I fit in the gap? And time matters. When you are implementing the right habits, and when you have your skill set built out, the more the time goes on, the more changes you're going to see, right? And the less time you have to, like the less skills you gain, the less implementation, the less time you have to implement things. Yes, you're going to see something, however, not to that same caliber or the same degree. And what I want to go into next is, like this is also where it's the art of learning how to how to show, how to accept not being perfect, but at the same time continuing to build your discipline, which could be really confusing because it's almost like two opposing forces. When I say discipline, what's the first, what is the first thought that comes to your mind? Probably something like David Goggins, right? Like you think 200 milers, you think extreme pain, and when I'm like, get great results, you think, okay, David Goggins. Now, what if you haven't worked out for 3 months? Or what if you have a hard time eating vegetables? Like David Goggins has been training the way that he's training his mind and his body for literally like years and years on end, right? And the reason why he looks and performs the way that he does today is because, as time went on, it's magnified everything that he did. So I want you to think about this journey when you're implementing the art of discipline while learning the art of, being okay with not being perfect. Go ahead and drop a P if you are like, yes, I am a perfectionist for sure. Just go ahead and drop a P real quick. So how do we harmonize, like those two opposing forces? And because I'll tell you, like a lot of times when you hear this message, what you're going to think is, oh, it's too easy. Yeah. But when life gets hard, show me how to show up. Right. So that's how you continue to build up, literally, like climbing up a staircase. Right. It's like the more time goes on, right? I'm going to draw another graph. The more time goes on, the more you become disciplined. Yeah, whichever way it's called, right? So like, today's day number 3, right? Like you have this level of discipline, right? Like you lead in this way, hopefully by day 13, you have a little bit more discipline, right? Like, are you up to your discipline potential? Right? Like by no means you are, right? However, if you approach it this way, as time goes on, guess what? And then life also has a way of, exposing us to new adversities, right? So let's say you made it through, think of this like a Super Mario game or whichever video game you play if you do, right? Like, okay, I made it to level 3, awesome. But then, like you get hit with a life adversity that you've never experienced before, right? And those are more overwhelming, right? And you actually go back. Like not only are you like on the same level, right, even but you're actually going back. The fall off is not going to be as extreme, right? So like one of the things that we say is that, when you're hitting a low point, when your lows are not as low and are not lasting as long as they used to be, that in and of itself is a win. However, we have a tendency to think of our weight loss journey because when we are ready to transform, we are ready to transform 5 days ago. When we have that aha moment, we're like, we look ourselves in the mirror and we're like, oh,
this is it.
Now get this off of me. 5 days ago, what is the quickest thing that I can get, right? So we think, right, that this is what it's like. The more the time goes on, right, like basically it's a linear, process. But the truth is that it kind of looks like this. And when you're doing this the right way, as messy as it might look, notice over time, you're still climbing up. Meanwhile, if you're like, okay, I'm going to go to, from keeping up with the current lifestyle that I have to, okay, I'm going to do this thing that, supposedly you can drop 30 pounds in 30 days, right? And then You do really well, and then you're like, what's next? Default. Or, on day 28, something happens. Like you're so close to being there, like it's Saturday night, like there's this party, graduation party or something you got invited to. Oh, like come on, guys, I'm already kind of done anyways. I've done so good, right? And like this is what happens. And if you look at this graph over time, you're actually not moving anymore. Do you want to say something?
I think we did that graph.
So the fine art of creating more discipline while getting away from the mentality of being perfect is like building. Okay, so every single day where you lead with integrity. Okay, like I want you to think about like a golden chain that you have, right? Every single day.
Can I talk about this? Because we keep going like I want to give you guys some like, okay, well, what do I do, Erin and Sarit? Cool. In theory, all of this stuff is great. I want you to write down what you do that you count as a loss or a mistake or a failure or a mess up or a oh shit. And I also want you to write down what you count as a win, something you're proud of yourself for, something that you're excited that you followed through with or that you did. I wrote down a few examples, but you know your life better than we do. So some examples of a win is when you say you're going to work out and you do your workout. When you wake up early, when you skip the pizza night, when you choose better option of something that you would have chosen before, when you put your water intake, when anything you say you're going to do, you follow through with, you stick to your word. All of those things are wins. Notice I didn't say the scale goes down because this isn't about the result. It's about the action that gets you the result. And if you want the result, you need to have more W's than L's. So let's focus on what the W's are, what the L's are. And if I'm going to give myself an L, a lot of people actually in one of our programs, sometimes there's an intentional loss. It's intentional, it's planned, right? It's executed on purpose because it's something that brings joy or satisfaction. So it's not really a loss. It's a loss from their, program standpoint because it's not whatever they had, a brownie or something, but it was on purpose. But L's are part of life. What if you made your losses happen on purpose? So, okay, now get intimate with what are some of the losses. Making justifications. It's just a bite. One won't kill me. Well, it worked out really hard today, so I can have an extra scoop of ice cream. Justifications, giving into your excuses. I'm tired today, so I'll do it tomorrow. Procrastination, skipping a workout, binge eating, pushing the snooze button 10 times, losing self-control, etc. So I would like, and you can go on now, but I just want you to, be aware of what are the wins for you, what are the losses for you, so that you can know as long as I'm getting more wins than losses, I am moving in the right direction. Right? Okay.
Yeah, and this goes in perfect alignment with what I'm about to share. So whichever way goes first is totally fine. So, like if you were to build a chain so that then you could go and sell it. Okay. And let's say the material that you build it, okay, everybody knows gold is gold. Okay, so no matter what, you're building a golden chain. Would you rather build a thin, small, golden chain that only fits around your neck? It's like those thin ones that you can like barely see, kind of golden chain? Or would you rather Who is that rapper who would like wear freaking clocks on himself?
Oh, Flavor Flav.
Or would you rather,
2
you know,
Chainz.
like build a chain that is so big and thick and heavy, like a Flavor Flav chain? You guys already know that the value of gold, it's like the more it weighs, the greater the value. And if you're like, dude, I have an opportunity to go sell it, which would you rather sell? The Flavor Flav one or the, you know, like skimpy, you know, like scrawny little chain? Just drop an F for Flavor Flav or S for scrawny. An F or an S? Like, where are you at?
Flavor Flav.
I don't know about you, but I'm like, dude, like, give me the Flavor Flav one, and let's make it like long from all the way to from Florida to California, as long as it can be, right? Yeah, not not even a single S, right? So, you know, going back to what Erin was talking about, you know, every time you make that right decision, though it's not like extreme, but it is the right decision. It's like with regards to the chain, it's like you completing a circle in the chain, right? And again, we're building a heavy, thick, long chain, right? You made another good decision, okay? You continue to build it, right? Another good decision. And it doesn't matter what chain you're building. In order for you to build a chain, you need a couple, like hundred or thousands of those rings, right? Which means that you gotta fill in the chain. That's the concept of discipline. Now, let's say in a matter of one day, like, let's say every day counts for a ring in that chain, right? Like, let's say, you know, like you're like, okay, Monday, you know, completed my ring, right? Tuesday, completed my ring. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, completed my ring. Sunday, rest day. You know what? I'm not going to work on completing my day intentionally. Right? What you said, intentionally, I'm going to work on not completing the ring. So let's say you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, pause. Monday, I'm back at it. With intention, I'm not going to complete the ring. You are still building the ring. Do you see where I'm going with that? So your journey here is literally like building a chain. And the longer you are able to go building that chain, the farther you're going to get. Erin and I have been on the right path for about 11 years. We're real people, just like you know, like we used to struggle for a really long time. And that's why we believe in each and every one of you, right? Like we close the circle. And even if we close the circle, let me tell you something about when you build that chain. The build never stops, right? I'm not going to say, oh, yeah, like, you know, like, look at my arms. Done. No, because you don't get to build the chain if you're not putting in the work, right? So it's like, how do we set ourselves up for success each and every single day in an intentional manner where we're giving ourselves the time, the space, and the fulfillment to want to continue building?
For those of you who are not new here, I would like your help. And I would like you to finish the sentence. It's not about the weight you lose, but
Let's see who comes first. Oh, actually, we just jumped. Elda came in first.
It's not about the weight you lose, but who you become in the process. And all of this challenge is designed to help you change your perspective on certain things that we get tripped up about. Today, it's, oh, well, when I mess up. It's so we're trying to stack wins because, like Sarit's talking about with the link chain, the more links you get, the more excited you are, or the word we understand is motivated, to get more links completed in a row, consecutive. And so you start to build this momentum. So there's a version of you that lives in the current body that you're in. There's another version of the same beautiful you that lives in the body that you are going to achieve. But those versions of you are very different. But they're the outside is only the expression externally of what's different about you. But what's different are the habits that you've created. What's different are the way you talk to yourself. What's different is the relationships that you have, the way that you communicate in those relationships, your attitude, your mental attitude on a daily basis. What's different is the foods that you choose, the restaurants that you go to, the people that you hang out with. Those are the things that make you lose weight. So why this videos are not all workouts, because you can go, you already know you can go do a good workout. Wow, great. And like nothing really changes from day to day. And then the second you stop working out, then what happens? So, you know, why we created the Bang and Body Fast Track, the link is right there too, by the way. Why we created that is because we want to help you. The more time that you get to spend with us in a closer proximity, the more we can help you on your way to become the person that lives in that body that you're going to achieve. And I can promise you, and the people who are, again, who finished that sentence, you guys rock, can all tell you. And even if you're not new, some of y'all need to be joining us in the fast track, because it's another experience that's going to keep you motivated, keep you inspired, keep you going, keep you transforming into the person that you're working on becoming. So all of these things that we do, it's not just to give you a meal plan and say, okay, good luck. It's not just to give you a set of workouts. We do those things because you'll crap your pants and go, I did a challenge fitness and there's no, can't believe it. But that's not the most important thing. So I would love to know from you, what is something that you have taken away from this for yourself personally in the comments? What are you going to extract from what we've talked about so far just today? You're going to take into your life and you're going to apply it so that you can take another step closer to becoming the person that lives in the body that you're going to achieve. One thing that you get to take away. Because even if you take one great thing away from this entire 5-day challenge, it's worth it. Because that one thing will evolve into other things.
Yeah. So you want to read those comments, or shall we get to the implementation part?
I don't know if they're here yet. I'll give you guys a second.
Okay, so I'll start getting to the implementation piece. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so every single day you get 3 action steps to complete. By now you probably kind of know how this game works. Action step number 1 is, of course, the movement component, 30 minutes of intentional movement. Today, we're going to flex your discipline muscle just a little bit by challenging you to stay away from that thing that you normally go to when you're stressed out, when you're feeling emotional, or that thing that you're like, dude, I love it so much, I can't live my life without it. The reason why we're going to make you flex your discipline muscle is because we want to empower you. because a lot of times we think that we cannot live without something, which, like currently you're unable to. Now, please know that we're not going to make you do it. However, it's about empowering you because when you know that you are in control, right? If you're unable to stay away from that thing that you love so much for one day, you're not in control. It controls you. And I believe that we can do anything for one day. However, when it comes to the process of building the chain, right? Like the more the time goes on, right? Like I said, we can do anything for one day. The difference between day 1 and day 30 is that it requires more discipline. And it's not like we're gonna make you stay away from it for 30 days necessarily, because we want to teach you the other art beneath that at the same time. However, it's about showing yourself the opportunity that you know what, I am in control. And yes, I can do this. When for so long you thought that you couldn't. So, like whether it's ice cream, whether it's chocolate, whether it's wine Wednesday, your thing, today we're going to stay away from it. And you're going to flex just a little bit harder. And the third action step is going to be, of course, you sharing with us in the Facebook group. Like, how did you do staying away from that thing? And also, like, what is your thing? Like, what is your thing that you're trying to stay away from? So, doing that,
What was that one again before
kryptonite.
Oh, yeah.
So,
We're staying away from it.
we're staying away from
We're
our.
getting a win tonight.
Yes, we are. So we want to know what your kryptonite is and how are you doing staying away from it for the next 24 hours. Share it with us in the Facebook group. And as long as you do all of those, you get the full score. If you fall short, that's okay. That's feedback, right?
How fast you get up?
Yeah.
Also, it's Wednesday night on the night that we're doing this. So this shouldn't be too complicated because usually it's like Friday, Saturday, unless you end up watching this on a Friday, Saturday. We got this. Okay. So those are the 3 points.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to know, like, who's already in the Banging Body Fast Track? Who's already in it? Put
B.
B. Put a B. And I'm going to show you something cool if you haven't looked at the page. Okay? Check this out. Boop. Take this away so you can see it. No problemo. Okay, so check this out. This is the page. You guys, what we're, yep, cool, 97 bucks. What we're doing, where is this at? Who's this for? If you're ready to break through to the next level and stop falling back to square one, if you're discouraged by not getting results from your current workout or nutrition program, if you want to level up your exercise, nutrition, and lifestyle game, but you're not sure where to start, if you want to know how to create your own perfect workout plan without the risk of getting bored or injured, if you feel like there's more to life, but you're not sure how to approach it, if you want to uncover and overcome what's been holding you back, whether it's time, whether it's fatigue, whether it's family, whether it's boredom, etc. If you desire more connection, accountability with like-minded women in a safe environment, and if you know you're badass deep down, but you don't look or feel like it. Somebody gave me a visual today. I was like, oh my gosh, like I've never thought about it that way. Where, like when you're embarrassed to be in front of a group of people who knew you when you were like more fit, but you've like gained weight and you haven't seen them since you gained weight, and you're like really hesitant. Same conversation with the same person I was having today. And she's like, I say no to, pool parties and things like this with my friends. And I'm afraid to go back to CrossFit because I'm embarrassed because when I went there, they know me, I was a certain way. And I've gained like 35 pounds since then. So I'm just embarrassed. Like, if you want to be around a group of people that are supportive of you and you feel like the external version of you is a visual of your failure and that's what you're embarrassed about, you need to go to the fast track. She's like, I feel like the version of, she's like, I feel like they can visually see that I failed. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so powerful. So if you are feeling that way, jump into the body fast track because you are not a failure. That's the truth. You just messed up a little bit and you didn't have somebody who could help you get back on the track. And you didn't have somebody to tell you how you can get back on the track when you fall off and how you can do that sooner and sooner and sooner. That's what we want to do for you.
By the way, in the case that you happen to have any questions and you want to maybe talk to somebody on our amazing team about it, just go ahead and text fast track to this number 754
253
2206, and we will answer all of your questions. As long as you get into the Bang Body Fast Track by Monday, you're also going to get a plan for the next 14 days beyond, this challenge, so that between the time where we meet in person to, the time where this challenge ends, you have something to continue building your momentum and getting data. We will be giving you time after, we do our teaching segments every single day to ask questions based on the content.
Yeah, we really want to help you guys walk away with a plan. I want to just finish you showing you this. If you haven't checked this out already, go. There's so many details in here. We're doing it the 18th to the 20th of May. There is a video recording option, 4-week full workout plan that we're going to create together, weekly meal plan, environmental cleanup. So like if you've got people in your environment that are, not super supportive of you, then, how do we clean up your environment? How do we clean up, different spaces that you enter, whether it's your work environment, if you're a teacher, if you're at school, like your desk, whatever environments you are in, to create the ones in the best way that they are not creating resistance. So stop making it harder for you to reach your goals. Like if you go home at night and you have to make 4 different dinners because this kid won't eat that and that kid won't eat that. And then like your spouse wants pizza and you're like, I'm trying to get on track. Like, how can we help you create an environment that is smooth?
Yeah. So please feel free to text that number in the case that you have any more questions. And also something else that we're going to be doing is, I want you to think of it like a long workshop. Something that we're going to do in it as well is we're going to go over communication styles that are going to help you to set better boundaries, so that if you're ever facing resistance with, family members, or like, how do I know how to stand up for myself so that I can make that right decision without hurting somebody's feelings or without feeling guilty about it, right? Of course, there's only so much that we can cover in a matter of, 5 days for 1 hour. We end up going over time every day anyways. Like right now, it's right on the dot. So yeah, we're here to go as far with you as you want to go, and we're here to support you. We believe in you because we're real people just like you, and we want to do everything that we can to provide you all of the tools that we can in the shortest amount of time in order to, help you to continue building the habits that you need so that you can live the life that you're proud of course, in the body that you're proud of, because you can have everything that you want in your life. If this is not in check, it's always going to be in the, like
Back of your mind.
in the back of your mind. Exactly. Or if, you can have everything that you want in your life. If your health is not optimal, And let's say you want to play with your kids, but you're huffing and puffing, you're thinking about yourself and how you're not able to go faster. Meanwhile, your kid is begging you to play with them, right? And I'm not here to really strike any chord with anybody. We're just here to speak the truth because we know that this is the truth that needs to be heard, right? And then,
I mean, the truth is that we have heard it. Like you all have told us, you
Right.
know, I want to do this so that I'm a good example to my kids. I want to do this so that, you know, I don't, if my kids ask me to play with them and I say no all the time, they feel like I don't love them, like I don't care about them, like they don't matter. And then they're going to grow up feeling like they don't matter and then struggle with the same things that I struggle with because my parents made me feel like I didn't matter. Like it goes down the line. And so, you know, this is just to inspire you, to move you into action, whether you do anything with us beyond this or not. Just remember, like, it's so much more significant than just seeing a different number on the scale, because it is not the number we give a shit about, it's what the number signifies. It's what that number, it's the story that you create because of that number. If the number goes up, the story is I suck. If the number goes down, the story is I'm doing good, right? So it's not about the weight. It's about who we're becoming in the process. The weight ends up coming off as default. It's a byproduct. Cool. Hopefully this was valuable for you guys today. Go get your points in. And we are going to see you. Is there anything else you have for them today?
that's it.
Okay, jump into the Bang and Body Fast Track, bodyfasttrack.com. We will see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.